Good afternoon. The Board of Trustees of the Harris County Department of Education is now convened in a regular board meeting on Wednesday, June 26, 2024, in room 401 at 6300 Irvington Boulevard, Houston, Texas, at 1:03 p.m. We wish to extend a warm welcome to everyone present at this meeting of the Board of Trustees. As trustees, we are here to set goals, listen to reports from the superintendent, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and set policy for the district. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day decisions, operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operations of the department are the responsibility of the superintendent. We have policies and procedures in place to resolve concerns and issues. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees, not a meeting of the public. Prior to this meeting, board members received information related to items on today's agenda. Agenda items will not necessarily be handled in the order listed on the notice. The meeting is open to all who wish to attend and hear the matters discussed. During the course of this meeting, the board may determine that a closed session is necessary. In that event, the board will meet in closed session to consider matters duly posted for this meeting as permitted by section 551.071 to 551.084, inclusive of the Texas Government Code. I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking, and that cell phones are turned off or in silent mode. Thank you for taking time today to join us and for your interest in the Harris County Department of Education. So we will begin today with the invocation by Donald Mims, Record Center Technician for Records Management.
Shall we bow? Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this meeting. We ask your blessings over this board and the entire Harris County Department of Education. These and other blessings, we thank you now. Amen.
Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. We'll have Brandy Dean, Administrative Assistant with Choice Partners.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, one and indivisible.
Open Forum Government Code 551.007, Public Participation. Pursuant to Policy BED Local, a citizen who wishes to speak may do so by completing a participation request card available at the boardroom at least 10 minutes prior to the regular meeting. So we do not have any speakers today, but we do have a visitor who I'd like to acknowledge. We have Alan Provost today. Thank you for your interest in the Harris County Department of Education. All right, and with that, we will move to reports and presentation, and we'll start with the Superintendent Monthly Report.
Thank you, Madam President. I just have 4 things I'd like to update the board with. We've just completed, actually a few weeks ago, our Scholastic Art and Writing Award Ceremony. HCDE is the second largest regional affiliate for this prestigious award program in the country. We had 13,000 entries for the Houston region and forwarded more than 1,000 of those to the national competition for key medal winners, or Golden Key winners. This year, 134 students win national medals for their art and writing submissions, and that's out of 110,000 entries. So kudos to that. I mean, we continue to be the front runner with Scholastic. This past weekend, although I wasn't able to attend, I believe Trustee McGee was able to attend. We had our adult education graduation ceremony. We had over 80 graduates attend the ceremony, but we've had 164 graduates in total with over 300 guests. If you haven't had a chance to attend our adult ed graduation, it's something that you certainly should try to do. It's no greater thing to see than people of all age groups. And I've seen people as old as 80 walking across the stage with the same pride and smile in their face as an 18-year-old getting their high school diploma. The stories that you hear about some of the people and what they've gone through, sometimes life gets in the way and you fall down, but you get back up. It's just really stunning and truly amazing. And so I want to thank our adult ed program for that. I'll be doing a lot of traveling this summer. This weekend, I'm going to San Diego to the ARHE, which is the Association of Recovery in Higher Ed Conference. We've gone to this conference for multiple years. This is what really inspired us and helped formulate our strategy in developing Fortis. Trevita Godfrey will be presenting out there, but we also go out there to do some reconnaissance to see where we stand in the country as far as our recovery program, and certainly to generate some ideas of what we want to do moving forward. Finally, in July 14th through the 17th, I'll be at the NISPRA conference, which is the National School Public Relations Association. Did I get that right, Clark? Good. Ms. Clark and I will actually be doing a presentation called The Secret Sauce of Success for a Superintendent and a School Communication Professional. We've actually done this presentation before in Fort Worth, and we're invited to do it at the national level, where we get to try to communicate and provide strategies of how best a comms professional and a superintendent can work together. And we even break it down to specific tiers. So very busy summer, and I'll be happy to report back once I come back from those conferences. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll move to the annual division update from Records Management.
Good afternoon. There's actually a couple things going on here. My voice may go down because I have some type of head cold or something, and my hearing is kind of bad right now, so I can't hear out of this ear. So I'm gonna try to turn this way and be able to hear y'all if you say something to me. You know, you get old, things happen to you. Again, good afternoon, President Hinojosa, Board, Mr. Colbert. I bring to you the Records Management Annual Report from the year 22-23. I am Curtis Davis, your director. Give me a second here. Okay, so who are we? We are a 32-year-old division of Harris County Department of Education that has been helping school district, charter schools, universities, community colleges, technical schools, city government, and county government for, like I said, 32 years. And we look to expand in the coming years more and more into different city government agencies that we can actually deal with. I brought with me a couple of people here. Records, you guys please stand. Anthony Washington, raise your hand. That is our operations manager over the entire operations. And of course, you know Donald Mills, that did the prayer. Reverend Dr. Donald Mims. You know, I always say I have at least 3 pastors that works with me there. Difficult, very difficult, very difficult. I get out of line and right back in there. Who's not here is Phyllis Gage. She's our senior support and imaging specialist, and Michael James, who is the record center technician, senior record center technician that has all the guys, and Phyllis has all the ladies that they operate under. All right, I just wanted to show you guys how many years, we did a tally, and how many years of experience is in that records department. And I thought that I had the most years, but Michael James, the second person in line, has 45 years. Now, listen, Michael is the same age I am. So he had to start when he was about 15 years old. So I'm thinking there's some child labor laws going on. So you see, I mean, Phyllis has been here for 30, actually at HCDE for 30 years. And she's probably never gonna leave. Anthony has been in the business as long as everybody else has, 30 years in the business. So there's just a lot of information, you know, in our group, and we know that. excuse me. So some of the services that we provide, of course, is our pickup and delivery service, online web services. Right now, we're doing a lot of destruction services. It's June, July, August, where we pick up thousands of boxes of records to be destroyed, and the digital services. That's coming along every year. We do probably 1 million, 2 million records that we scan every year, and that's where it's at. We get requests. One year we may get a lot of requests. Next year we get a little. Then it picks right back up the next year. So, and we're pretty happy that we've mandated that department with our own internal people. So we don't outsource anymore. Everything is internal. We got enough people to do what we need to do for thousands and millions of records to get digitized every year. Additional services, one of the ones I want to talk about for a second is our bin service, the recycling service. We picked up, we didn't really want to get into the business, Anthony will tell you that, but there's a demand for recycling services in the districts. So there's shredded, different companies out there that's doing recycling. We start going out to the districts like we want all and everything to do with records for ourselves. So we start seeing bins out in the district and start telling people, hey, we do that, or we can do that. So we've started that. We picked up a lot, and we're doing a lot more shredding and recycling paper. Okay, this chart here is just kind of giving you an overview of who we serve, the type of communities that we're in, and the type of customers that we have. And I thought I looked at this a year ago, and I thought this was kind of important because it kind of gives you the breakdown of the percentages of where we are and what we can go after in the future. You know, if we want to do more government agencies, we can go out for more government agency, and of course it's Texas, so it's big, and there's a lot more opportunities out in Texas. So, you know, we now have that chart to look at. Some of the customers we serve, I think we serve about 19 of the Harris County school districts. The ones that we don't serve are actually in-house, big enough to have their own storage facilities in-house. More of the customers that we serve. And here are some of the last year, excuse me, the last year highlights. What we pride ourselves on is we're more electronic now. Instead of the old take out the pen and the paper and answer the phone call and write down the order information, we do it for the web. We go on the web and let the customers put in all their requests through our web portal, which has really been working wonders for us. The images, we're still over 1 million a year. A couple of years ago, we did probably 2.5 million. That last year was one of the down years. Next year is going to be an up year. It's kind of like consistently like that. So these are some of the numbers that we have. New box that's coming in, we received 16, some years 20, some years 25,000 boxes. It offsets itself basically with the number of boxes that we destroy from inventory. And it's a good thing. As long as the numbers stay equal, it's a good thing. Some of the highlights, picked up a couple of new different type of customers that we've never done before, the Police Burial Fund and the Fort Bend Child Advocates. Those were scan jobs. They only wanted their records scanned, put on disc, and sent back to them. So we're looking to do a lot of those type of pick up, move, scan, send it back to them in the future. And it's real easy to do, 20, 30, 40 boxes, do it real quick, send it back to them, bring in some funds. Year to date, over 27 million documents since we went in-house with our own scanning that we have in our database. And all but the City of Houston contract has renewed, and the City of Houston contract will renew in February of next year. I'm really working on that one to get them to kind of stay interlocal with us instead of going out for bid. Working very hard to get that done. some of the trends that we see right now is for years we've been in the Armor Association of Records Management, and since COVID, everything has kind of died down. Conferences wasn't where they should be. This year in April, we went to a conference, and it's still kind of slow activity-wise and not as much participation, but we got our name out there because Armor is all about records and education. So HCD came in, and everyone says, okay, what do you guys do? I mean, we're amongst the people that's competing for pricing and their profit. And we come in and say, well, we're a nonprofit. So it's like, oh, we wish we can go with you, but we can't because you're a nonprofit. So we'll figure a way around that. I don't know how, but we'll figure a way around that pretty soon. Another thing that one of the trends right now is we're looking at storage. Now, if you're removing thousands and thousands of boxes a year and you're not bringing in thousands, your storage is going to continue to decline. Now, the trend is, and that's a trend around the nation in record centers. I've checked out several in Houston and other states, and it's just old records. It's time to get rid of old records. People are actually getting rid of old records, especially school districts. It's time, the policy change, retention change, so it's time to get rid of old records. We actually got a request last week for one of our districts to remove 8,000 boxes from inventory. So it's just that time of year. So hopefully we'll pick that back up with new boxes coming in. Any questions? I know most of these people. They're behind the mask, so it's kind of hard to figure out who they are.
I just want to say that our records department has done a fantastic job. When I actually applied for the position, I didn't know I saw on the website a photo of you looking up at a shelf.
Yeah.
And so when I got hired for the job, I actually went down to records management, and I could not believe what I saw. I'm like, the photo on the website was a misrepresentation of what we actually have. I mean, NPO is like 200 yards long. And at the time, I think you were like just half of the building.
We only had half of, at that time, but 2 stories, but half of the building.
Yeah.
2000.
And so it wasn't but 40 seconds or so before Curtis was wanting to take over the entire building and expand into all of that. And I was like, no, I don't know that we'll do that. But the impressive thing is that people don't even know we do that. We provide records management for 19 to 20 school districts out of 25 in the whole county. We also have the city of Houston. Yeah, we have the police department, fire department.
Yes.
Almost 700,000 boxes in this warehouse. And so that tells me a couple things. That tells me, one, that they see a value that's better than anything they could do for themselves or find someplace else. But it also tells me that they value the service and they can depend on it. And so that's a testament to you and the people who reside within your department and the quality of service that they provide. And for that, I want to thank all of y'all. So
Appreciate it.
good job.
Any more questions?
Any more questions from the board or comments? Thank you.
Thank you.
So we will move on now to our annual division update with Choice Partners.
Let's see what we got here. Okay. Best year ever. Best year ever. Remember that. Good afternoon, trustees, Mr. Colbert, HCDE ELT team, Ms. Langlois. Do you know that other cooperatives are reporting billions and billions of dollars, $10 billion in activity at a year? Just think of the admin fees that we could have getting there. That type of activity aligns with what we're trying to do at Choice Partners. Although we're not just driven by goals, we are also driven by purpose. Our aim is to expand and generate more funds to support HCDE initiatives, ultimately saving lives. Today we'll discuss past, present, and future of Choice Partners. Oh wow, this thing's on an automatic timer. I'm sorry. We're going to stop this sucker. My name's Jeff Drury. I've had the honor and privilege of leading Choice Partners for 9 years now. And I'd like to ask our amazing team to stand up and be recognized. I think most everybody's here. These are the folks that make it happen. Oh, geez. I ran through this earlier and there wasn't a timer. Or, let's see. These are the folks that make it happen. They're the ones that write the contracts, do all the work that we have to make us a success. There we go. See if I can do that. What does Choice Partners do? A lot of you probably know what we do. I'm going to give you a real quick review. Right now, we've got 632 contracts. That may be above or below on any given month. You guys are approving contracts expire, things like that. We have 2,400 members, pretty much every state in the country. These are the guys that use our contracts. They're the ones that spend the money. They're the ones that cause the vendors to pay the fee, that give us the dollars that we operate with. We also collect sales activities. We do billing. There's a very key word here, reconciling. We've had a great management team, a great team of billers doing a lot of extra work this year, our first year of the rebate. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And we also deliver support to both vendors and members by doing comprehensive, regular training, workshops, attending conferences. We work closely with Stephanie and the MCE team. They do provide a lot of help and assistance to us also in a lot of these initiatives. So this is representative of really kind of our numbers. And we're always about numbers. We sit in our leadership team meeting every month and talk about numbers. The blue lines are revenue. That's the total dollars that we generate every month. That's really what I want you to focus on. That's what that trend line is there for. And the largest month we've ever had in the history prior to this, largest year, prior to this year was fiscal year 2019. A lot of that was as a result of Hurricane Harvey, a lot of reconstruction, a lot of renovation, a lot of disaster mitigation, things like that. But if you can see where the trend line is, I put at the top, extrapolated through fiscal year 2024. These aren't actual results, but we're going from about 8.3 million high previously to probably 10.8, maybe 11. So that's a good year for us. Very, very good year for us. All right. One of the other things we like to talk about is kind of how efficient we are with head count. You saw our 19 folks, and we like to try and be as efficient as we can with their time, with their efforts, and maximizing our revenue for Choice Partners. It's not on this chart, but I'd look back in 2014, 2015, 2016, these red bars, which is basically our margin dollar per employee. We had fewer employees, so we were down around 100,000, 101,000, 105,000 per employee. Here it goes again. I apologize for that. As you can see, we continually go 150. We're looking at about $400,000 revenue per employee. That's why we keep asking for more people. We keep asking for more help. We want to continue to grow, make more money, and be more successful all the time. This is our booger right here. A couple of years ago, in 2018, our weighted average of all of our contracts, admin fees, for every $100, we'd get 2.37 or $2.37 admin fee back in fiscal year 2018. This year, it's at 1.54. Now, it's attributed some to the Amazon, the Apple, those type things. But again, that's a real dilemma to deal with. It's a 35% drop in admin fee percentage. That's like saying, well, I made $100,000 back in 2018, but I make $60,000, $65,000 now. That's a little bit harder to deal with, and we continue to increase the aggregate. So just kind of, that's kind of a representative as the numbers are going up, the percentages are going down, working harder and harder all the time to try and get these numbers, and just kind of a little view of the marketplace and what's being dictated out there. Fiscal year 2024 highlights. We've never even used the word B before, the billion number, but we're pretty close. We're probably looking at about 900 million or so in activity. Those are dollars sold from furniture, office supplies, construction, food, all the other things that we sell, which again, that same number, approximately about 10.8 million is what we're looking at for this year. We also had our first rebate, and I know we had a lot of discussion with superintendent and ELT as far as what the rebate program might do. It was very, very successful. It's a lot of extra work. It was a ton of learning for a lot of our folks that were instrumental in doing that big word reconciliation that we showed on a previous slide. Just a lot of work in it, but we learned a lot. It's been a lot of success. And we've found, I think we rebated $730,000 for the year. We probably found $25 to $30 million that just weren't being reported. We didn't know they were there. Vendors weren't reporting, members weren't reporting. Now we have the portal they report to, and they want to report, because guess what? They get a little piece of that 25 million, that 30 million. Comes back to the district, comes back to the city or the county or whatever. So guess what? When we start holding the vendors a little more accountable also, because they're vendors that just, you know, for whatever, got amnesia or didn't report some of these things in the past. One of the other highlights is just out-of-state activity in general. This past year, we had $38 million in sales out of state. That resulted in almost $750,000 in fees, $700,000 in fees. A couple of years ago, we were talking fractions of these numbers. I mean, you know, 25% level of what we are now. So that's a big area that we're finding new opportunities in. When we come to the board every month, we bring in new members. Over 50% of our recent members over the past year have been from out of state. And this past year, we had activity, sales activity in 39 states. So it makes us truly a national cooperative. Some of the future plans, we're going to continue the rebates. Some of the things more digital coming along, online market expansion, the big word Amazon. Everybody here makes fun of me for using that word all the time. You know, they say that's how you get my attention. But they're doing a lot of MWBE hub, SBE initiatives, and we're trying to work with some of the large users that are even holding off still because of some of these initiatives they're working on, and some of the large potential customers out there also. Kind of reiterate growth and expansion of markets outside Texas. More contracts for usage in cities and counties. We've been very strong in K-12, been very strong in higher ed. Cities and counties we've done well in, but it's been more of a blind spot than the K-12 or some of the other areas that we work in. Competitive threat. We talked about the continual erosion of the admin fee from that 2.37 to 1.54. That's 35%. That's treading water. That's running on that little wheel a little bit harder all the time to try and just keep our head even. We've got competitive threats from large co-ops. A lot of these guys are not for profit, owned by private equity firms. They can spend money like crazy. They have more people literally out working and selling, and region managers and sales managers and whining and dining our customers, and we have in total employees. And so these are the guys that we're fighting all the time. They keep coming into Texas more and more, getting more footprints and making allegiances and things like that. So we're always fighting that. There's been a recent surge of, I call them clearinghouse sites, comparing cooperatives, Pavilion, Equal Level. They're not direct competitors, but there's kind of a push to kind of team up with either us or one of our competitors and just kind of getting a little bit in our business and making it a little tougher to kind of do what we've done even just up until now. And we are talking to a lot of those guys and working with them for future business. And so in Choice, we don't only work hard, we like to play hard. You guys have probably seen some of the things from our shows in the past, superhero theme last year, and somebody's laughing back there. Superhero theme last year, and we all got dressed up. You can see our group picture here. And we also have just a short little clip. I'll tell you real quick, our next food vendor show is October 10th. Can anybody remember? 10 and then 10. 10, 10, right? 10, 10. We'd love to have you all there. It's a fun time. A lot of students are there, a lot of vendors. Eat food. You'll see us acting goofy again, kind of like these pictures. I'll play a little video here real quick. We want to make sure when y'all come on 10/10 that you have a super time. What questions do you have for me?
I'm just happy you had something under that shirt.
Yeah. That's what just about everybody on earth would tell me, too. Got that right.
Thank you so
CJ was
much.
trying to ruin it earlier. He said, "What are you wearing under there?" I said, "Don't look under my shirt."
Yeah, I just would like to say, so, we just did our budget meeting workshop yesterday, or was it Monday? Monday. Choice is such a valuable component of Harris County Department of Ed. I mean, I can't even articulate how important it is for us. One of the things that we stand firm on is trying to be good stewards of the taxpayer dollars. And what we've been able to do consistently for 10 years is lower the tax rate every single year for 10 years. But people don't realize what helps us be able to do that is the profits and proceeds from Choice. You're sitting in a brand new boardroom with Harris County Department of Ed. That is a byproduct of the success of Choice. We just opened up a $19 million adult ed facility. That is a byproduct of Choice. And so Choice is unlike any other buyer co-op in the state of Texas. And I shouldn't say this because I know your staff would probably get mad at me. I'm turning a good speech bad, but we don't do commissions. There aren't bonuses. And I look at them, see, already they're like,
I can talk to you after the meeting.
they're like, can you hand me the mic? Well, it goes against the grain of what our business model is, and we're trying to be able to bring value to the citizens of the county. We are a public education entity, and we do that through public education. We do that through adult ed. We do that through Head Start. We do that through so many different things. And so I really appreciate how well Choice has done. It has grown since I've been here. Before I got here, I really didn't know how they worked. But it's the thing that people seek after now. And we've been, I think, agile and smart enough to adjust to the trends of what's going on in the community and with education. But we've also been smart enough to utilize those profits in a way that we bring more value to the citizens of the county and do things that we think are going to multiply and increase the presence of Harris County Department of Ed. What the leadership team has heard me say is that we want to have a bigger footprint in our community. And I don't mean the footprint needs to be longer or wider, it needs to be deeper. When we step, it needs to be deeper. We're putting on more weight, we're putting on muscle. And so what I mean by that is we're going to try to do the things that we currently do and do them better. And instead of doing a bunch of whistles and bells and flashy stuff, why can't we be the best adult ed program in the United States? Why can't we have the best Head Start program in the country? Why can't we have the most unique schools that no one's even conceived of are bringing out of children what people couldn't even fathom? What allows us to be that ambitious and to be that audacious is we are going to be responsible in how we use the one profit-making branch that we have and use it to bring maximum value to succeed in those specific goals. So to you, Jeff, and especially to your staff, I want you to hear from me, the superintendent of Harris County Department of Ed, how much I appreciate you, and thank you so much.
Any other questions or remarks from the board?
No way.
Hi, good afternoon.
Oh,
Excuse
hello
me for
there.
being tardy today. Thank you for your presentation. I think we echo the superintendent that we too would like to utilize the profits in a way that expands this footprint. So look forward to a meeting with you soon, because there are several projects that we would like to do, and seeing the success of this budget. I wasn't at the meeting, however, there are some projects that our former president, our new president, we would like to work with you on. I'd also like to see data from local participation. I know everyone wants to contribute globally, and I commend that. But maybe next time we can have something.
We break
or-
it down. I can send something like that to you also separately. We break it down by inside and outside Harris County.
That'll work.
And then we have a column, a field for state,
Okay.
things like that.
Thank you.
If that would help.
Anyone else? Right. Thank,
Thought you had a question, no?
okay.
Come on. I saw your finger like that, like.
Oh, I was giving you a thumbs up. You give me 8 million reasons to love you, Jeff. Thank you. I think this is an example of state capitalism, and state capitalism doing a good job, where the government engages in capitalism to, here we're providing a profit. The profit is used to subsidize public education. It's really awesome. So thank you, Jeff, for your hard work. I appreciate you very much.
That's all okay. No more questions. I'm going to implement the 4 Bs of a presentation. Be prepared, be interesting, be brief, and most importantly, be seated. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so any other reports from the board members at this time concerning attendance or participation in a board or HCDE-related conference, event, activity, or committee, or any accolades for an HCDE staff member or other deserving person?
Thank you, Madam President. Appreciate the opportunity to share a few highlights. Was really honored and privileged to serve to attend the Texas State Leadership Institute in San Antonio, sponsored by the Texas Association of School Boards. And so I attended the Texas Trustee Institute for first-time trustees, and so I was grateful for that opportunity. Had some really interesting discussions, board, superintendent relationships, really, the important aspects of school governance, as well as dysfunctional boards, and I'm grateful to not be a part of a non-dysfunctional or a school board that's not dysfunctional. That's functional. See, and I've made it dysfunctional just by my being here. But no, thank you. I'm really grateful to be a part of it. So it was a really outstanding event in San Antonio. Learned a great deal, and certainly many school districts, school board members are suffering related to finance, and so I know certainly some of the things that we're doing here that really help them out. Choice, Jeff, so great deal. And then also, I guess the highlight, since I've been on the board since November 29th, was attending the graduation for the high school equivalency, the GED. That was an incredible opportunity to be there. Mr. Parker did such an outstanding job of being the keynote speaker, and he got a standing, was it a standing? Oh, he was standing. He was standing on. He had a little assistance. Look at that. Outstanding job. Really appreciate it. But it was so great to get to hear the students' goals that they had following their completion of their, so it was really a highlight. And we've already agreed to kind of break out the regalia for next year. So I'm looking forward to pulling that out and attending it. So thank you, Ms. Outstanding job in that area. And thank you, Mr. Superintendent. Thank you, Mr. President. Madam President.
All right, thank you. I would like to say that I did not have the opportunity to attend TASB this time. I was scheduled to attend, and I had a death in the family very unexpectedly, and I just want to thank HCDE. I received some flowers of condolences, so thank you so much for your care and respect. Thank you so much. Okay, so with that, we'll move on to any reports from board committees. Okay, seeing none. We'll move on to monthly financial reports with Dr. Amesqua.
Okay, these are our monthly highlights as of May 31st, 2024. All our information is posted on our website. And the balance sheet as of May 31st is we have assets of $45,372,601, liabilities of $2,672,406, and net equity of $42,143,663. As of May 31st, we have $25,172,033 in the fund balance, of which we also have excess revenues over resources as of May, which will be utilized for the rest of the year, of $17,001,630. That makes up our equity of $42,173,663. When we look at our ratios, we have the first one is fund balance to general fund expenditures. We're at 36%, very similar to we were at the same time last year, 37%. Working capital ratio, we have a little bit more than last year at the same time, and primarily it's because of our maintenance notes that were issued about 3 months ago, and so we have a working capital of $43 million. Unassigned fund balance ratio, we're at 38% versus 50%, and again, it's because of not the entire year has lapsed, so we will end up closer to 50%. Debt to income ratio, we're at 4%. Last year, for the whole year, we're at 6%. Keep in mind that we only make 2 payments in February and August, so the next one is coming up here in about 2 months from now. Tax revenue to total revenue, we're at 25% versus 30% at the same time last year, so total tax revenue of $30,193,841. Indirect cost ratio, holding at 2.4. We were at 2.7 last year, so it's very comparable. In terms of fee-for-service ratio, we're at 19% and 20, again, very comparable between the two calendar years. And then the growth ratio continued at 18%, where we were last year at 16%, and that is primarily because a lot of the contracts and in special schools and other activities that continues to grow in that sector. Budget amendments, we haven't had any since the one in September, so we only had one for $526,532. Our inflows revenues, we're at 90% received and billed for the month of May, budget to actual. Special revenues, we're at 53%. Again, remember that we have to expense incur the expense and then get billed the following month. So that's why it's a little bit behind. Debt service fund, we're at 67%. We have one more payment in the month of August. So overall, we're at 72%. We're at 75% of the year has lapsed. In terms of expenditures, we're at 66% in the general fund, way below the linear amount of 75%, and so we expect that to end the year below budget. Same thing with special revenue funds at 67%. And overall, when you take into account all funds, we're at 62%. Our COVID-19 monies, we still have 209,606, which we have one more payment, and so that will complete that funding source. In terms of donations, we have for the month of May, 6,500 in cash, 33,100 in kind, total of 39,600. And primarily came from donations to Head Start, therapy services, business services, and art supply, also for Center for Education Success. In terms of our values, as of May, we're at 645 billion. We started with 639 billion, so we're going to end up a little bit higher than we started the fiscal year. So when we were looking at during the budget time, we're projecting to be somewhere around 664 billion for the new year. Again, depending on where that ends up, we're going to be somewhere around 674 billion. So that's the assumption that we have in the budget for the new year. So for this 9 months, so we will get an additional 175,000. Again, if we end up with a higher value, then we'll have a little bit extra at the end of the year. So year to date, we had our 99% collection rate. We do have had some refunds that we had to issue that the tax office processes, and so that's 383,000. And so overall, we're at a net amount of 98.1%. Payments to HCAD year to date are $184,764, and the tax office to collect the tax, $609,703. Again, year-to-date collections are on target at 99%, and so we're just a little bit below at the same time last year, again, because we are collecting a much larger levy from 27.6 million to 30.4 million. So even though it's a little bit slight on the percentage, so in terms of dollars, it is higher. Our expenditures or disbursement report, we have 261 transactions, 720 P-card transactions, and 6 transfers. All the information is posted on our website. And in terms of segment division data, Center for Education Success, a tax benefit or variance of $229,233. Records management, $574,173. Therapy, $1,822,475, and then the schools had $1,216,802. No budget amendments for the month. In terms of the foundation, we have inequity in the foundation, $437,590. Detail is included, and so we still have all the different programs outlined there in the slide, and then we still have a $200,000 payment coming to the foundation. So by next month, you will see a much larger balance. In terms of our lease revenue bonds, we continue with the small business program. Year to date, right now we have total CIP of $5,351,746. Primarily the majority of that is our retainage of $1,964,630. That's still before we finalize our release or the final payment and complete the project. In the maintenance note, we received $16,492,460. And so that is part of the Irvington project and also some of the other renovations that we will be doing here in the fall. Again, all of our projects are 99% plus, with the exception of the retainage that we're still holding at this point in time. In terms of Irvington, We are at contractual commitments of $9,077,494, and we still have $4,063,000 pending balances that we're still have not encumbered at this point in time. That is the report for the month of May. What questions do you have in terms of the highlights?
Any questions, comments from the board? Thank you.
The next one is our investment report. Again, all our information is posted on our webpage, and our policy, we just submitted a recertification from the Government Treasurers Organization of Texas, so we should be receiving that in the next couple months. So our total value is $70,445,395. There's, in terms of the PFC, $329,290. Our our portfolio is in Lone Star, Texas Class, Texas Star, and then TexPool, and a little bit in the in Chase, which is our money market sweep account. TexPool for the $329,000 is basically at TexPool, and then some at Bank of Texas, $83,907. When you compare from year to year at the same time last year, we have $9.6 million more, or 16% more from 23 to 24, and that's primarily because of the maintenance note, that the $16 million maintenance note that was issued several months ago, so we still have that in our portfolio. All our funds are earning the highest at overnight on the short term. We have, wait, did I skip one? No. We have earned $2,051,081 for the year, and then $18,014 for the PFC. Earning 5.31% on our funds. And here you see the interest rates as they have continued to climb, and now they sort of, you see the last 3 months, actually the last 4 months, they're kind of been waiting for any changes by the Fed to drop, and so it's kind of the Fed sort of postponing that a few months, so we still continue to earn at for almost 5.3. That's the report for the investment report. What questions do you have?
There's nothing from the board. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll move on to the consensus action items. Do I have anyone who'd like to pull anything from the consensus items? All right, seeing none, do I have a motion to approve, or a motion to approve consensus, or the consensus agenda?
I move to approve the consensus agenda.
Movement by Trustee Duhan, seconded by Trustee McGee. Any discussion? All right, we'll put it for the vote. All in favor? We have 7, oh, 6, that's right, we're missing someone. 6-0, motion passes, thank you. And, thank you. With that, we'll move on to the non-consensus agenda. We have the first item to consider approval of amendment number 2 for contract number 212-24. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Trustee Dick, seconded by Trustee McGee. Any discussion? All right, we'll put it to a vote. All in favor? Motion passes 6-0. Next item, 7B, discussion and possible action to adopt an order to increase the over 65 and disabled homestead exemption from $275,000 to $320,000 for tax year 2024. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Trustee Duhan,
Second.
seconded by Trustee Dick, and we do have some explanation.
Sure. The Harris County increased the overhead homestead exemption from $275 to $320, and all the jurisdictions under Harris County have the same exemption, and so we like to follow the same because we want to be consistent to the taxpayer and not be able to deviate to that. We've accounted for that in our budget and our projections for next year.
Thank you. Any discussion? All right, we'll put it to a vote. All in favor?
Just a question.
So sorry, go ahead.
Dr. Amezcua, you mentioned homestead exemption. I'm reading here that says over 65. Is it a separate exemption?
It's disabled homestead exemption, but it is over 65. It's under the same umbrella. I need to look at the detail, though.
Yeah, because there's two, right? There's a
Yes, there's two of
homestead
them.
and then
Yes, we're looking at the over 65.
and you may have mentioned it, but I didn't catch it. Is there a budget implication to us? cutting it?
No, we're going to, when you look at the calculation, it basically shifts, instead of the over 65, it shifts us to everybody else.
All right, thank you.
Any follow-up?
I just want to ask, and you said you want to be consistent with who again?
Harris County.
All right, if there's no further discussion, all in favor? Motion passes 6-0. Thank you. The next action item, 7C, consider ratification of amendment to the Information Technology Services Agreement with DocuNuv Solutions. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Dick.
Second.
Seconded by trustee Cantu. Any discussion?
Small explanation.
Good afternoon, Board. This is we wanted to ensure that you are aware of option years 2 and 3 and the amounts that will increase that contract by. Those are $70,000, $70,130 for year 2 and $70,981 for year 3 for an aggregate of $112. In the April board, and it was listed as a total amount of $151.12. I'm sorry, $130,478, when in reality we needed to add the option years, which we didn't have the figures at the time. This also supports our workflow and forms platform, which is being revamped, as well as the RTA. It will support our RTA revamp of the application.
I play with this microphone way too much. I have a question, if we could have any kind of comparisons to other districts and what they have to utilize as far as these IT solutions go. I think that I would be in favor of just going ahead and passing this now, but I'd like to be more informed in the future about what other, I don't know necessarily if we have a comparable district with size and all, but what other organizations are using and what their contracts look like comparatively. I don't know where we might be able to get that, who we might request that from, but I think it would be helpful.
We do have some data, and other districts are also utilizing Laserfish, which is the solution that DocuNav, who is a VAR for Laserfish, is implementing.
Okay. I would deeply appreciate if you could email us anything on that.
For sure.
Thank you so much.
You said the amounts for each year was 70,000 or 75,000? What's the amount for each year?
70,130 for year 2, and 70,981 for year 3.
That's 140,000, right?
Would be 71, almost 71,000 for year 3, and 70,130. It is about 141,000. Yes, you're correct. It seems to be a ministerial error on our part.
So we're approving an additional, what's the motion would be? Do we need to?
What's the correct number?
I'll I'll have to get that to you.
We can take a moment.
130,478.59 for year one, 70,130.66 for year two, 70,981.74 for year three. Grand total commitment is 271,590.99. I do see the aggregate total, and this may be as a result of an additional $18,000 for this same vendor conducting a revamp of our RTA application. That is correct for the total aggregate for this vendor. No, the increase is also correct.
I'm unclear. I'm unclear.
Is this something we could need to bring back next month possibly, or do we need to act before the next?
We do need to act, although a PO has already been issued for year one.
Oh, well, we
Madam
need to.
Chair, I would ask that we push this to after executive session and then give Chris an opportunity to button up the numbers and represent it, and then get approval after executive session.
We'll do that.
And can you
Trustee-
get what we approved at that previous meeting that you said we approved it, just so I can? Okay.
So Trustee Dick and Trustee Cantu, if you would please withdraw your motion and second.
Consider it done.
Thank you.
I'm speaking for, I guess, both of us, or, sure.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll move on to action item 7D, consider adoption of resolution concerning emergency administrative leave with pay for HCDE staff. Do I have a motion? Motion by Trustee McGee,
Seconded.
seconded by Trustee Duhan. Any discussion? Put it to a vote. All in favor? All right, motion passes 6-0. All right, so with that, we will move to executive session under the Texas Government Code pursuant to any and all purposes permitted by sections 551.001 through 551.084, including but not limited to 551.071 and 551.074. So we move to executive session at 2:05.
There you go.
All right, we will now reconvene this meeting for the Board of Trustees at 2:52 PM. And we'll start by revisiting action item 7C. This is to consider ratification of amendment to the Information Technology Services Agreement with DocuNav Solutions to increase the amount by $141,112.40, aggregate total of $271,590.99 for the period of 6/30/2024 through 6/27/2027. Do I have a motion? Motion by Trustee Dick. Seconded by Trustee Cantu. Any discussion?
You have a copy of the revised and the attachment that was included in the agenda. And so the only thing that needed to match was the dollar amounts that you read to the detail that was attached in the agenda.
If there's no discussion, we'll put it to a vote. All in favor? Motion, Eric? Motion passes 6-0. Do I have, one more thing. So we'll, action item 10 to discuss any possible action regarding, or discuss and possible action regarding future agenda items. Are there any?
Yes, Madam President and board members, not to discuss it to delay our meeting too long, but I just wanted to suggest that we since we have a new director, I'd like to, I think she's been on about 6 months. I'd like to get an update from the Education Foundation. I'm glad to see that we are having the second fundraising luncheon, the second year in a row. That's great progress, but I still think we can do more, raise more money for scholarships, you know, and just work a little more closely with our community. So just wanted to mention that. Thank you.
All right. Anything else? Trustee Dick?
Yes, I'd ask that we kind of explore, because what I discovered is that taxing entities can appoint trustees to the maybe Harris County Appraisal District or nominate trustees and participate in that whole process. And I'd ask that our organization continue to explore that. So although we don't have a large sum of votes, we could nominate future Harris County Appraisal District trustees, or at least look at that process. And also for the foundation, I'm happy to donate Astro seats again for that auction. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, do I have a motion to adjourn? Yes. Moved by Trustee Davis, seconded by Trustee Dick. Trustee McGee. Any discussion? I'll put it to a vote. Motion passes 6-0. We will now adjourn at 2:55 p.m.